What's up, everybody? Dennis Hendrickson with Huge Tennis. Hopefully you can hear me. If you can in the chat box, just let me know. This is going to be relatively informal. I did send out a message to everybody sort of last minute. Probably should have done it a week ago, but this is my first time doing a live stream, so I'm hoping that everything works out well. It's kind of test out the kinks, see what works, what doesn't work, and go from there. So I see some people are in the chat box asking about some things like Rafael. Is Rafael Nadal right-handed? And yes, he is right-handed when it comes to all of the other things that he does, but his coach, Uncle Tony, had taught him to become a left-handed player. And I'm not sure exactly what the reasons were. Somebody in the chat box could probably tell me why. But the idea was he thought that it would be more of an advantage to him on the pro tour as he became a better tennis player to be a left-handed player. And I can go into, while we wait for more people to join the stream, I did pull up when I was in Miami. I did some videotaping of Rafael Nadal in particular. So if you have any questions regarding any players, technique, or anything like that, be sure to put that in the chat box, and I can go over that. I do have some videos of what I did pull up is I have Federer, Nadal, and Djokovic, and I think I have a couple of other players as well, but one of the things I'll do here is go over Rafael Nadal in particular and what makes him such a tough player to play against, and main reason why is how much topspin he can generate. Of course, being a lefty, it's a tough to play a lefty, as a lot of you know that are probably watching this now. But what makes him so unique is how he can use his body to generate such a huge amount of topspin. And so you can see here, he's in this video, what he's doing is someone's feeding him ball after ball to his forehand side, a little bit short in the court, so he's stepping in and just ripping forehands pretty much as hard as he can. I was about, I'd say, two to three courts from the side away from him, and I could hear him hitting, of course, his unique grunt, but then also the pop of the ball when he was hitting it. And you can see here how incredibly good he is at using his body. So he takes both the racket back with both hands. He's got that semi-western grip. And he really gets a good shoulder turn and really drops that racket down, and he just swings those hips and shoulders around and just leaves that racket behind. And he has almost a perfectly straight arm when he makes contact to that ball. And you can see how low he is and how much racket lag. The racket lag, to me, is what's unique to him, is that his chest is almost coming around parallel to the net. And his chest at this point is almost parallel to the net. And look how much lag he gets with that racket and how much low to high he gets on that racket, and how much he could just strike that ball so hard. And then he turns, as soon as he makes contact, just turns that racket right over. And it's just a violent swing every single time. There's another shot of it a little bit closer. So here he's using, and someone was asking me earlier today about footwork. They wanted me to talk a little bit about footwork. So here's more of an aggressive footwork stance because the ball is landing shorter. So you can see how he takes his little stutter steps, and then one plants his left foot down, steps forward, and then begins his swing. And at this point, here's something unique here where a lot of the pro players do, not so much on the WTA tour, but you're going to see it almost 100% of the time on the ATP tour, where the racket face gets, when he drops it, when they drop it down into the slot, how the face of the racket is pointed down towards the ground before they begin the forward swing. And then you can see how much lag there is, and how much he opens his chest so quickly and just lets that racket lag behind, and then come up, brush up the ball with a straight arm, and then just absolutely crushes it. And you can see how much topspin he generates, especially when he's stepping forward in an aggressive stance. So that step forward is more of an aggressive footwork stance. But yeah, going back to Juan Carlos talking about Rafael Nadal being a righty. Yeah, he is right-handed, and his coach back here, Tony, had taught him how to become a left-handed player, thinking that would be a benefit to him to be a left-handed tennis player, and obviously made him arguably one of the best tennis players, if not the best tennis player in the world. I happen to think that Federer is, and I'm sure some of you are going to disagree. In that time, we'll see what ends up happening, but it's in all likelihood we'll see Djokovic and Rafael Nadal, assuming we get back to tennis here soon, which I hope is going to happen. You'll see those two guys surpass Federer's success in tournaments and things like that. So we'll see. Okay. So just out of curiosity, how is everybody doing right now with the current health situation? What are you doing in regards to tennis? Are you able to still play tennis where you are, or are you having to shelter in place like we are? We're in Florida in the United States, so unfortunately it's a little bit more difficult for us to get out and play tennis. So I'm just curious on how everybody else is handling it, what people are doing out there in the rest of the world and other parts of the country as well. So just let me know in the chat box what's happening. And in the meantime, one of the other things I pulled up regarding footwork is Roger Federer. So one of the things I wanted to also talk about today was one of the things that Roger Federer does so well when he's in a defensive position on the run. Okay, so actually that's not the video I wanted. Let me pull up the other one. Okay, so if you find yourself in a situation where after you serve the ball and the returner hits the ball extremely hard back at you and you don't have a lot of time to react, this particular footwork move that Roger Federer is very good at is something that's called the spin. So here's what happens. As soon as he serves, his opponent happens to get a hold of it pretty well and then just rockets the ball right back at him. He has no time to get back behind the baseline again, so unfortunately what he has to do is he has to kind of stay in one spot. So here he's in a defensive position. He can't move forward. Definitely not a neutral position. He is doing everything he possibly can to just get the ball back as best as he can. So in this situation, you could see how his right foot is back behind his left foot. And the reason he's doing that is because he kind of has to step back. If he stepped forward with that right foot, there's no way that he'd have enough time to come around and strike the ball like this. So he has to sort of, in a way, retreat. And you're probably not seeing this because I am not showing it to you. So let me show you again. So he serves. He's in this defensive position here. And so you can see his right foot is behind the left foot. He has no time to react here. So the only thing that he can do is kind of just block the ball back and not take a very huge backswing here. Okay, and this is called the spin move. So once he strikes the ball, he's coming around and spinning his body. So he steps back, takes a short swing, strikes the ball, and then spins his body around and gets back in place. Okay, so again, going back over this, if you find yourself in a position, and again, Roger Federer is excellent at this, is that when he serves that ball to his opponent and it comes back super fast, he has no time to react. Short backswing, takes a step back with the right foot. His left foot is in front of him. Short swing, hits that ball in front of him and spins his body around. So this is called the spin move or spin footwork. Now the next thing I want to show you is the on the run, which something we can call it like it's on the run footwork or power move footwork. So here's where he gets pulled way wide. So when he gets pulled off the court, what he ends up having to do is he's in a super defensive position, almost like if he doesn't really strike this ball or do something with it, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. His opponent's going to be able to attack him, and he's leaving the court over in this area wide open. So this power move, what it means is he's taking long steps, running steps to get to the ball. He's hitting the ball here in a closed stance. This is a closed forehand stance because he has no choice. But notice what he does when he's ready to strike that ball. He kicks the right foot back as the left foot continues to go forward. And when he makes contact, this allows him to get some force on the ball. It's really hard for him to generate a ton of force when he's on the run like this. So this power move allows him to hit in a closed stance, kick his right foot back, and then allow him to come around and hit as much power as he possibly can in order to get that ball back. So that's something that for Roger Federer is another one of those really good shots, good footwork that he has that makes him such a powerful player and one of the best players in the world. Okay, get a comment here. Novak Djokovic is the brain. Now, I would agree. He's a very smart player. And I think what makes him such a smart player is his defense. He's an incredible defender. Now, in this particular video, just goes to show you, this is more warming up, but how solid of a two-handed backhand he has and how good his footwork is and able to move around and just get to so many balls, which seems so easy or makes it seem so easy. And his footwork, again, is really, really incredible. He's so fast and can get around. He can replicate or just basically repeat the same shot over and over again because he's so fast and can get to the ball so quickly. But here's another one I want to show you, if I can find it here, is something called a Mogul Footwork. So this is also something that is a defensive footwork, but you're not so far on the run like the Federer one I was just showing you. So you're a little bit on the run. So here's a good example on the backhand side. So he's going to get pulled off court a little bit, not so far that he has to run all the way out to the alley, but he's got to, and watch his feet just below the net line here, how he takes little steps. I mean, he has unbelievable footwork. Little tiny steps, 1, 2, 3, and then steps to the side, strikes the ball, and then notice what happens with his left foot. It stops, and then he's going to move and get back into, if this wasn't warm-up, it was an actual point, he'd move back to his right and get back into position again. and that's what's called Mogul Footwork. So it's kind of like skiing on the moguls on the in the snow. Let's see if I can get a forehand. I think I had a forehand here where he was doing that. Okay, so here. So again, he's not getting pulled all the way out to the alley. He takes a couple of stutter steps. He sticks that right foot out, strikes the ball, does a little hop, and then the right foot anchors, and then pushes off for him to get back into position again. So there you have it. Just going over some of the footwork stuff with, and then obviously testing out the live stream and seeing how this all works. So I'll be doing this again, obviously, in the future. Just wanted to see how this all worked, see if we can work out the kinks and everything. So I'm definitely going to be doing that again. Did have a question here. With Wimbledon being canceled this year, will we see Roger Federer one more time in 21? I'm assuming you're talking about Roger Federer, and that's a really good question. I don't know. Also, I was thinking that Roger Federer would be retiring after the Olympics, but now that the Olympics are going to be postponed, it's hard to say what's going to end up happening with him now that Wimbledon's canceled. With him getting older, another year older, that's going to be tough on him. So we'll have to see. I hope so. I hope we get to see him again in 21, because I think at this point, I think some people, when tennis commentators, things like that, they're wondering if we're even going to see the hard court season this year, like U.S. Open, and when we get into the summertime, it's hard to say if we're even going to have a hard court season as well. So I don't know. That's a tough one. I hope we do see him again in 21, and that he could hold over for another year. At least he's going to have a lot of rest to build his body back up again. So I'd say the chances are pretty high. So I certainly hope so. All right. Any other questions? I don't see them. So I'm going to go ahead and call it a day. It's been about 20 minutes. I appreciate you all that were on, helping me kind of work this out, this live stream thing. So it was enjoyable. Enjoyed answering questions and putting it all together. And definitely look forward to doing it again soon. So also, one more thing before I go. If you have a moment, check out hugetennisacademy.com. At hugetennisacademy.com, I've got some lessons there that you can go to regarding serve. So I was going over footwork today, but if you'd like to work on your serve, I've got a Serve Like Federer course and a massive serve course that you can check out there. So that's at hugetennisacademy.com. And of course, those of you who are watching now on YouTube, you know about that channel, and I'll definitely be putting out more content on the YouTube channel as well. So thanks again. I appreciate all of you being here again, and I'll talk to you all soon. Bye now.